been a while and has the reputation. And of course, all the famous chefs have their restaurants, and the buffet at the various hotels is incredible. It's 20.
Oh yeah.
Get over that. You get hungry at 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, just go over to the buffet and it'll probably be open. So let's talk a minute about shopping and restaurants and nightlife. Of course, there's nightlife. They don't have clocks there. But what are some really neat places to go, like Fremont Street? And talk a little bit about that art district that you just mentioned.
Oh, so the art district is sort of a really up and coming place, and I'm really loving it because they're opening up a lot of little cafes and galleries. They have retro shops, and the retro shops aren't just like clothing. It's all original furniture and fixtures from homes, and it's really, really amazing. And it's really developing a really unique part of Las Vegas that I don't think we've ever had here before. And we have not far from there things like the Neon Museum. We have tons of museums, which is a lot of people think that Las Vegas doesn't have any culture of its own. We absolutely have we absolutely have some culture, and it's just very different than everything you're used to. Yeah. So when you come out here, our museums aren't filled with a ton of paintings. It's more on like the Neon Museum is all of the old signs from the Strip from 50, 60 years ago. We have a natural history museum. We have a children's discovery museum. But we also have things like the Pinball Hall of Fame and a Hollywood car museum. And now, of course, there has to be a mob museum.
Would be fun. Yeah, no, I like that idea. Well, where is the art museum located? Is it on the Strip or just off the Strip?
Well, there's a ton of them, and the one closest to the Strip or to Fremont Street would be the Natural History Museum. But when you get away from the Strip, we have a ton of really amazing restaurants and shopping, and I would definitely hit like Chinatown or Koreatown for some really amazing food. That area is starting to really bloom.
Oh, that's neat. Okay, I'll make a note of that. But that's off the Strip directly, of course.
Yes, yeah, that's around Spring Mountain Road. So when you need to look at a map.
Sure. But this is all good stuff to know about. So let's talk for a minute about, because we could talk the whole rest of the time about the restaurants there. They're so awesome. But
oh my gosh, yeah.
It's just incredible. But what kind of housing can retirees look for? The traditional active adult community, or are there some other options there? What should they look for, and what kind of new projects are coming up? I know that one time I was there, the city center was just being built, and but outside, off the Strip, outside of Vegas, what's out there?
So there are, you can find everything from the traditional active adult community to the new ones that have all of the amenities built into them. They're just so unique out here. There are some older, smaller ones that are manufactured homes on owned lots, which we don't have very many of those. So if you can find a manufactured on an owned lot and you want something a little smaller and more traditional, then I would absolutely jump on one of those, because those communities, they really, they're not your traditional manufactureds. They really take the time to decorate their home to go with some really retro looking Vegas styles. So the homes are so adorable. And then they have, all of the independent activities you can do or not do if you don't want to. And with the newer ones, they have more of the activities right there on the premises. So rather than where the older ones, that exist. You can sign up for, taking a bus tour of the Grand Canyon, or things like that. The newer ones have everything on premises, so it's like you can go play tennis, or join the swim team, or do bocce ball, and there's so much to do, and that's all in one community of the newer communities for active adults. And I'm kind of super jealous that you have to be 55
Yeah.
to live there, because it sounds like they're having all the fun.
Yeah, for sure. Well, now
And it's all built in.
are the manufactured homes, are they mostly in a gated community as well, or are they just kind of spread around? And do they have HOA fees, or what do they do?
They are in a gated community. We actually have a surprising number of gated communities here, and they do have HOAs. Most of them are fairly low, depending on how many amenities you want. But most of them are fairly low. So, because they know that if that their clientele is living on a fixed income, so they want to make sure that this is affordable but still fun.
Well, that sounds excellent, because so many places are just too expensive. I would like to just talk with you a little bit about the history of the Vegas area, and how did it get the name Sin City, and what else is going on there that are interesting places to see outside of Vegas other than the Grand Canyon? Are there any kind of unique places that you could recommend that are maybe off the beaten path?
Oh, absolutely. So when you asked me about Sin City, you'd mentioned it over the phone when we first talked, and I was like, let me take a deeper look into this. And the story I found was amazing.
Oh,
So
okay.
originally, when
You have to share. You have to share.
yes, so originally when the town was first planned out, each block was named, and Sin City literally came from Block 16, which is located on First Street between Ogden and Stewart Avenue, and it became famous around 1906 because it was one of the only blocks that could legally serve liquor without licensing restrictions,
Uh,
along with Block 17.
mhm.
Um, but Block 16 soon distinguished itself by blatantly offering prostitution.
Okay.
So, yeah, and then years later, I'm sorry, during Prohibition, it completely disregarded the ban on alcohol sales, and it continued to sell alcohol until the ban was repealed in 1933. And eventually, Block 16 was ordered to be paved over and would become parking lots, but there's still a marker there to show this historic little piece of Las Vegas. It's right behind Binion's Casino, just east of the California Hotel, and I thought that was absolutely hysterical that we had one block that was just like, we're going to do whatever we want.
Oh my gosh, that is a very interesting history, that's for sure. And of course, for retirees who want to fly in and check things out, the closest airport would be probably McCarran International, because, gosh, you can get off the plane and in 10 minutes you can be at your hotel and out on the strip really fast, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can be to the strip within 5 minutes of getting in a car from the
Awesome.
airport. It's so close. And then even if you're going to someone's house that's farther away, the farthest you might have to go is 20 minutes.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, Arnee, we could probably chat for another hour about everything in Vegas, but I think you've given listeners a really good feel for what it's like to live there. And before we sign off, could you just give your maybe a website or an email address or both, so that if listeners do want to think about moving to Vegas, they know who to contact? That would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. My email is it's arnee.dodd@gmail.com, and I'll spell that out for you because I know it's not a common name. It's ARN as in Nancy, arnee.dodd@gmail.com. And if you want to give me a call at my office, it's 702-721-8927. And I would love to help you with anything.
Yeah, you do specialize in relocation and retirees, so I think that's always a good resource to have someone like you who knows the area, but also knows what a retiree is looking for, which is very different from a younger person moving out there for whatever reason. So I do really appreciate you're taking the time to visit with me this morning, and I'm just going to be out to Vegas as soon as I can. I tell you, I love that place. I've been there many times, and I never get tired of it. And people say, "Oh, but I don't want to gamble." I said, "I have yet to gamble in Vegas. There's too much other stuff to do." So I can vouch for what you've been saying this morning for sure. And I do really
I've
appreciate
not gambled once.
Well,
in 2.5 years, I have not gambled once.
Well, yeah, and I think I was out there with a group, and a gal, she said, "Well, if you play the slot machines at the airport, you stand a better chance of winning something." So I don't know if that's true or not.
No. That's the opposite of true.
Well, and it's just so entirely different. It's just such a different environment from what we're used to on a day-to-day basis that makes it really exciting. So, Arnee, I do really appreciate your joining me today, and contact Arnee. And if you need to contact me, it's moveorimprovewithdebbie@gmail.com. And thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you very much, Debbie. I appreciate it.